Be sure to subscribe to Chat Sports so that you can join our live mailbags, which we do on every one of our live shows here on NBA Now by Chat Sports. That link below, that allows you to subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Help get us to 260,000 subscribers as we continue to grow like crazy here as a company and bring you the latest NBA news and rumors. Let's start this mailbag with this question coming in from Pop Johnson. What team will Bradley Beal fit best at if he's traded? Love the show, almost at 260K. Yeah. Round of applause to Pop Johnson for recognizing that Chat Sports is just killing the game right now. Look, according to recent reports, Bradley Beal wants to stay in Washington, D.C. To me, that's a big surprise. If I'm Beal, I want to go someplace where I can win. Sixers, Celtics, Warriors, another contending team, maybe like the Heat. If I'm Bradley Beal, I want out. I want to maximize on my current window of me being in my prime and one of the best scorers in the NBA. And the supporting cast that you now have around you with KCP, Kyle Kuzma, and Montrezl Harrell might be a deeper cast than what you had last year on that top-heavy team with Russell Westbrook, but that team isn't good enough to win a championship. If I'm Beal, I'd like out. Seems as though he wants to stay in. The Rainbow Cow, who can the Mavericks realistically sign? Hi, Sam and Chase. What up, Rainbow Cow? There have been some reports linking Kyle Lowry to Dallas. I really like it. I think they should retain Tim Hardaway Jr. If I'm Dallas and Nico Harrison, those are two of the players that I want to pinpoint coming up in free agency. So those are some names right there if I'm Dallas. Acreus, what can the Dubs get for Wiggins? Maybe a trade for Pascal Siakam, or maybe they're just better off keeping Wiggins. I'm going to say this over and over again. I'm a bigger fan of Andrew Wiggins than many people out there. I do think he is overpaid. I also think he's underrated. At this point of his NBA career, he is a Harrison Barnes type of player. A good defender, a guy who is a better creator than what people think because he's got the athleticism and the bounce to get to the rim. Over time, he's becoming a more consistent outside shooter, but his numbers last year, 18.5 points, were good. I would like, for the storyline aspect of it, for Wiggins to go back to his home country of Canada and play for the Raptors. I think he'd be a good developmental fit on the Raptors. Pascal Siakam for Wiggins, the salaries match, so from a financial standpoint, it could actually happen, but time will tell. We'll see. Vincent Sorletti with this question: who will be a breakout star in the 2021 NBA draft class for the 76ers? I don't think it's going to be Charles Bassey. Daryl Morey had said he doesn't expect any of the draftees to contribute right away. I don't think Jaden Springer is going to give you what Tyrese Maxey was able to give you this past year because Jaden Springer's only 18 years old. He's somewhat raw. Filip Petrusev, I think he could be a decent backup center. This is a guy who went to Gonzaga, couldn't really shoot the ball from the outside at all, went overseas, was the Adriatic League MVP, and he's become a better shooter. I don't think any of those guys are going to be breakout stars, though, for the Sixers. Who do I think could break out and come out of nowhere to surprise a lot of people? Wouldn't be a surprise to me if they trade away Ben Simmons and keep Tyrese Maxey, and Maxey is the starting point guard. I honestly think he could average 15, 20 points per game and kind of give you what De'Aaron Fox or Collin Sexton, give their respective teams. What was your favorite pick from the 2021 NBA draft? Get those names in the comment section down below. I think the Magic got lucky with Jalen Suggs falling to 5. They didn't outsmart themselves as a front office. They did the right thing. They did the smart thing and took Jalen Suggs. I think he's going to be a big culture changer in Orlando, and Franz Wagner paired up with him. I love what the Magic did. Rashard Lee, what up, my guy? If the Russell Westbrook win a championship with Lakers, what will it mean for his career? So if Russell Westbrook wins a championship with the Lakers, what will it mean for his career? It puts him into a different stratosphere among some of the best point guards over the course of NBA history. Since him and KD parted ways, Russell Westbrook has been a part of one playoff series win. So the lack of postseason success is why I kind of knock him, because in the playoffs, late in games, he makes some really dumb and head-scratching decisions. But if he wins a title, he's in a different conversation. Magnus Jimenez, what if the Bucks get John Collins or Kawhi? do you think they become contenders for the finals? The Bucks, without John Collins or Kawhi, are already contenders for the NBA Finals because they just won the NBA championship. They also don't have the money to fork over for a guy like John Collins or Kawhi Leonard, so I don't think that's realistic at all. I think John Collins goes back to the Hawks. I think Kawhi Leonard goes back to the Clippers, and I still think the Bucks are going to be able to be championship contenders. I don't think they bring in those guys. Charles Barkley. What up?
I'll tell you what, man. Charles Barkley in the chat right now asking this question. What do you think Sharife Cooper fell so low?
Love it, baby. That's my Charles Barkley impersonation. You can grade it for me. Type F in the comment section if you want. Why do you think Sharife Cooper fell so low? That coming in from Charles. Love you, Chuck. I'm not sure. I think it's because of his size. He doesn't have a lot of weight on him. Sharife Cooper, for me, as a point guard, was probably the best passing point guard in this draft class. For me, I had him as my 22nd overall prospect. He went all the way to 48 to the Atlanta Hawks. Maybe I like Cooper better than some other people when I did my evaluations. Passing-wise, he reminds me a lot of Trae Young, but he cannot shoot for the life of him. And he shot in the low 20s from distance last year. So I think it's the size. He's not the tallest guy. I think it's the three-point deficiency and inefficiency. That's why Sharife Cooper fell so low to the Hawks all the way in the second round to Atlanta. But I like the Hawks selecting him as a guy they can develop over time. And I think he'll get burn and steady minutes behind Trae Young as the backup point guard. Jansen Morrison, Beal to the Celtics. Look, we can talk about the Bradley Beal rumors all we want, and anytime any new information comes out on Bradley Beal, we'll talk about it. The newest information on Bradley Beal, as we record this during our live show on Friday, is this. He wants to stay in Washington, D.C. I think if the Celtics were to trade for Beal and reunite him with his best friend growing up in the St. Louis area, because they both went to Chaminade Academy and Jason Tatum, they'd have to give up Jaylen Brown, and I don't think the Celtics are willing to give up Brown for Beal. Marcelo Gonzalez, best trade scenario for Miami. Kind of depends on what they want. Could a sign and trade happen with the Clippers and the Heat for Kawhi Leonard? I think the chances of that happening are very, very low. Look, I think they should bring back Duncan Robinson. I think that'd be really smart. In the modern day NBA, you want to value guys who can make it rain from deep and be consistent shooters. That's what Duncan Robinson has evolved into over time. I think he's probably going to demand $15, $20 million per year, but I think it'd be worth it for Miami. So keep some of those players in-house. And honestly, if we're looking at the free agency market, maybe look at a guy like Kyle Lowry. Him and Butler, really good friends. There were some rumors there leading up to the NBA trade deadline. I'd certainly like the fit. Jaylan Boone, what's going on, man? What do you think the Lakers need to do to fill out their roster? They need to get shooters. I actually would have liked the Lakers dealing for Buddy Hield over Russell Westbrook. He's younger, he's much cheaper, he fills a position and an area of need as a floor spacer and a shooter. Since he's come into the league, statistically, he's been right up there with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson as some of the best and efficient three-point shooters. So I like Buddy Hield over Russell Westbrook, but because you traded for Russ, you now need to get shooters on the cheap, which is going to be hard to do because you don't have a lot of money to play around with. The Russ trade winner, let me know right now. Type LAL for the Lakers, type WAS for the Washington Wizards. I think it's the Lakers because while I can criticize Russ, he's a breathtaking player. He's still playing at a high level. He's a future Hall of Famer. I still think he has greatness in him. Down the stretch in the playoffs, late in games, can he be frustrating? Yes, but you're getting a superstar player without giving up any superstar players in exchange for Russ, and plus you're clearing some salary room to bring his contract in. No name. You don't have to have a name to ask your questions here on NBA Now by Chat Sports. What should the Warriors do? Keep the rookies or trade for a star? I think they're going to keep both rookies. The pick of Jonathan Kuminga kind of surprised me at number 7 because I thought the Warriors should have targeted guys who can help you win right now. And Jonathan Kuminga is extremely raw. I think the Jaylen Brown-Kuminga comparisons are real. Coming out of Cal, Brown was very raw. He's really developed his game where he's become a good outside shooter and one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Kuminga has that skill set and that potential in him, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to play right away. Also, Draymond Green was texting Bob Myers, take Kuminga at 7, take Moses Moody at 14. Bob Myers took both of those guys. So I think the Warriors brass is happy with both of those players, and I think both of them can play. I just think Moody's going to be able to help more right away. Magnus Jimenez, do you think the Bucks might look for people who can play defense or a playmaker? Look, the Bucks style, it's predicated on shooting the three, and Mike Budenholzer's style is offensive heavy. But I thought there were good defensive adjustments that they made in the playoffs. And Drew Holiday, really good defender. Giannis, all-world defender, just like Drew Holiday is. So I'm not sure you need to make a bunch of defensive upgrades. I also like P.J. Tucker as a guy who's willing to stick his nose in the dirt. Lil Eden, can the Cavs sign a superstar? I don't think that's in the works because I'm not sure a superstar is going to want to sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And when you look at that young core of Collin Sexton, if you keep him, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, really like the selection there at number 3, as well as Jarrett Allen, that's a core that you can continue to build with. So I don't think you need to sign a superstar. It doesn't fit your window right now or the timeline right now. And I don't think any players are going to want to go there. Pay Collin Sexton, make him happy if he wants to stay, and continue to build with that core and see if he can win with those guys. Evan Mobley, I was just mentioning him. I like that pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I thought he was a good selection, but were the Cleveland Cavaliers the biggest winner? If so, get into the comment section, let us know. Was it another team? Let us know in the comment section your biggest winner of the 2021 NBA Draft. For Hype or 3-channel friend, he watches us every single week. Will Collin Sexton go to the Knicks? Just got done talking about Sexton. If he doesn't want to sign a long-term extension with Cleveland, and Cleveland thinks we can get a haul back for Collin Sexton, I'd love the fit on the Knicks. What do the Knicks need? They need a point guard. And if they are able to lock down the point guard position, I think that team, which was a 4 seed in a deep Eastern Conference last year, can become even better. I'm all in on Collin Sexton to the Knicks, and I think his mentality and his confidence definitely lines up with New York City. This next question coming in from Micah. Where should DeMar DeRozan go? He's set to be an unrestricted free agent. I think DeMar DeRozan still has some really good ball left in him. He's 31 years old, set to turn 32 soon, but that hasn't dipped his production at all this past year with an okay Spurs team that was kind of battling in the NBA play-in tournament to get into that. 21.5 points per game. I'd like to see DeMar DeRozan go to an NBA contender because I think he'd be able to help him. As for destinations, win now teams for DeMar DeRozan. For all my people watching, do me a favor. We were live for like 8 straight hours for our NBA draft coverage, and I picked up a lot of Twitter followers. I am verified. We got more than 4,000 followers on my Twitter page at Chase_Senior. Give me a follow. Shoot me a DM. Let's chop it up. Let's talk some hoops. And also, it's the same handle on both Twitter and Instagram. So if you're not on the Twitter and you want to go to IG, you can give me a follow there. It's also at Chase_Senior. Really enjoy over my last couple of months here at Chat Sports, just interacting with our passionate audience. The Rainbow Cow, Timmy Hardaway expectations for 2022. I hope he signs with the Dallas Mavericks. I thought he fit in nicely alongside Luka Doncic. If the Mavericks this offseason can re-sign Tim Hardaway, can sign Kyle Lowry, I think it makes them a dangerous team in the Western Conference. I'm also expecting and kind of thinking that Luka Doncic can maybe take his game to the next level. I know it's crazy to say that. That's how great I think Luka is. I think he's already a top 5 guy. He has some postseason success. Maybe he continues to climb those rankings as the guys ahead of him continue to get a little bit older. I have high expectations, not just for Tim Hardaway, Luka Doncic, but also if they bring back Hardaway, sign a guy like Lowry, Mavericks could be legit. Another question coming in from Micah. Where should DeMar DeRozan go? We just talked about this. I said, yeah, an NBA contender for DeMar DeRozan, especially at this point of his NBA career, right? How about like a sneaky team, maybe like the Charlotte Hornets? Could they afford a guy like DeMar DeRozan to kind of help them get over the top? They made it into the NBA play-in tournament this past year and got absolutely cooked by the Pacers. But they're a couple pieces away from really being interesting, also like the selection of James Bouknight. Luke Harmer. Why would the Kings select Davion Mitchell when they have Fox and Halliburton? Does that mean one could be traded? I actually think Davion Mitchell can fit on the Sacramento Kings. I think Tyrese Halliburton can play more of a wing role. He has the size and the length to do that. I think Davion Mitchell can play point guard or he can play shooting guard, and I don't think De'Aaron Fox always needs to be on the ball. Davion Mitchell, I had him as my number 6 overall prospect. I don't care about the age at 22. I don't care about the fact that he's 6'1" with a 6'4" wingspan. Sometimes guys just have it. Sometimes you can't overthink it. And I thought teams ahead of the Kings overthought it, and they were like, limited physical upside. We're not going to take Davion Mitchell. We think other guys have more potential. Davion Mitchell's going to be able to step in right away and be an immediate impact player for Sacramento. I loved it, and I think it can work. Riley Bem, what should the Clippers do with Paul George and Kawhi, knowing that the Thunder have their future first? Look, if Kawhi Leonard stays healthy, I think the Clippers could have possibly won the NBA championship. So you keep Paul George. You hope that Kawhi can join you in April, May, maybe even June, help you in the playoffs potentially as he comes back off that partially torn ACL. Keep both of them, because by keeping both, you can still compete for an NBA championship, and I thought the Clippers had a sneaky good NBA draft.